The last time I saw him, he was standing in the shade under one of the bushes in front of the church. When I was ready to leave and went to collect him, he was gone." I glanced at the large white church on the other side of Church Street at the opposite end of the square. It was midday, and the October sun shone down on it like an orange pumpkin ripening on one of the many pumpkin patches scattered around the county. "I'm sure he's here somewhere. Maybe the crowd spooked him. None of us are used to having this many people in town," I said. Because of the ACC, the village had a rapid influx of people. There were 15 Amish candy makers in the competition, and as a rule, the Amish didn't travel alone. Many of the competitors had brought their entire families to Harvest to watch them compete. In the Amish world, that could be as many as 20 additional people per competitor. Those numbers didn't even include all the spectators, both Amish and English, who'd come to Harvest to watch the 2-day event. I guessed there were a couple thousand tourists. "What if someone took him?" Juliet's voice caught, and her Carolina accent became more pronounced. "How will I ever know who did it in this crush of people?" I stepped around the side of my table and gave her a hug. "No one took Jethro. I'm sure he's just hiding somewhere to get away from all the commotion. Why don't we—" "There she is!" A shrill voice shouted over the din created by all the visitors and candy makers packed onto the square. "I demand that you do something about this." I let go of Juliet to see a petite Amish woman in a plain navy dress, black apron, and white prayer cap stomping toward me. Her hair was parted in the middle and coiled into a bun at the nape of her neck in the Amish style. The woman was rail thin and couldn't have been more than 5 feet tall. Despite her small stature, the crowd parted to let her pass, like storybook villagers would for a dragon on a raid. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if she breathed fire just like a dragon. She would be the world's tiniest dragon, but that didn't lessen my chances of being burned, and I knew that was just what Josephine Weaver wanted to do. She wanted to burn me out of the competition. Jeremiah Byler, the Amish judge and organizer of the ACC, lumbered behind Josephine. He was a large, round man who was 3 times the size of Josephine, but not nearly as fierce, even though he sported a luxurious Amish beard. If I had to choose between Josephine and Jeremiah to contend with, the big teddy bear of a man would always win. Margot Rawlings was a few steps behind Jeremiah. Her short curls bounced on the top of her head as she made her way across the village green in Josephine's wake. She looked just as irritated as the Amish woman, but I wasn't sure if it was with me, Josephine, or both of us. Knowing Margot, it was both, and probably every other person on planet Earth. She wasn't picky when it came to being annoyed with people. When Josephine was within 3 feet of where I stood with Juliet, she pulled up short and pointed at me. "She should be disqualified. She's not Amish." I looked down at my outfit. Purple suede ankle boots, designer jeans from my life back in NYC, and a pink and purple flannel shirt under a white apron. To complete the outfit, I wore multicolored feather earrings that hung down an inch from the bottom of my earlobes. There was no one in the world who would believe I was Amish. Jeremiah folded his arms across his ample stomach. "Now, Josephine, we have been over this already. Bailey can compete in the ACC in her late grandfather, Jebediah King's place. Jebediah's candy shop was accepted into the contest months ago." Josephine's lips curved into a sneer. "If a contestant dies, I see no reason to allow his relatives to compete, especially if those relatives have turned their backs on the Amish way and become English." I balled my hands at my sides. My grandfather had died a few short weeks ago, and the loss was still too raw for me to take such a comment lightly. "I haven't fallen away from the Amish. I've never been Amish." My words were sharper than I would have liked them to be, but I made no apology. The tiny woman sniffed. "All the more reason to expel you from the competition. You cannot possibly understand our ways." "Please, please," Margot said, looking around. "Keep your voices down. There is no reason to cause such an uproar. You will disturb the tourists." "They should be disturbed. They came a long way to see the ACC, and there is an imposter in the competition," Josephine snapped. "Josephine," Jeremiah said as he inched away from her. I wondered if he was moving out of smacking.